Struggling with the tech.
No, I'm starting my streaming now, so hopefully it's working.
Hello, Strawberry Audience, how are you doing? Look at me, I'm a puppet at the fingers of the Drax that come through my mouth. Is that creepy or what? Have you ever been on a date with
Drax.
a guy that is creepy like me?
I swear
Okay,
I'm gonna rip
obviously-
that puppet. Okay, so first, I just started streaming, so I just want
Right.
to say that like about 15-20 minutes ago, I was using Restream. Why do I have
yeah,
myself,
right.
Drax?
Because you may have, God, we're so unprofessional, you know. Nobody believes that we're like the most successful streamers in the history of, I don't know what, but I don't know why you hear yourself. Maybe you have, on OBS, you have the monitor on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Toggling my mic. Okay, so I was using Restream to stream to both Twitch and YouTube, and then I went back and
Right.
looked at the video, and it wasn't good quality on YouTube. It was clipping my voice every 10 to 20 seconds, and I don't want that.
Okay, so I am
you're doing it right
Restream.
now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a test. So if anybody hears me hears bad audio, let me know in the chat. I'm not going to look at the chat all the time because I am in VR, so I have the goggles on. And let me go briefly out of VR mode. Let's go to.
We're gonna head over to Ready Player One now.
Yeah, I'm going to paste the URL in the chat because there is a direct link.
Yeah. You want me to paste it? I have it handy.
Let's see who's faster.
I got it.
Boom.
Haha.
Oh my God! Look how fast
Okay,
he's. Okay,
let's go over.
I'm gonna see how many people I have on. Whoa.
Okay, hi live streamers. Thank you for joining us. I'm heading over to Ready Player One right now. We're just doing a short stream today at Ready Player One because I didn't really get a chance to explore it when we went there during Atlas hopping. So you can come and join us if you want. I shared the link and it's also in the description.
100% sure what they used to build this.
Where's Drax? There he is.
Just came in.
No, that's not Drax.
No. Is there somebody here?
Oh, Ethos is here.
Ethos Erlanger?
Yes. Hello, Ethos.
Hi, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing?
Good. I'm good. I'm doing fine.
Hello, Ethos.
Hey, how are you?
Drax
Good.
is here with this puppet.
Yeah, my name is Hans-Jürgen. Hello, how are you? Okay, it's getting old. But wait, let me get into the light. So maybe Ethos knows that because this is H Garage, and I think your official language is that it's based on the production design of Ready Player One. It's sort of an amalgamation of what they have available on the lot, I guess. So here's the Iron Giant, and there's a whole bunch of other things. Oh, here, look at that, the TARDIS.
I don't hear any like music or anything.
No, there is no music here.
Okay.
So this is interesting. I was going to ask you, Strawberry, do you think that, so there's the Ready Player One, the story is of course very sort of referential to 80s pop culture primarily and other pop culture, but so there's a lot of stuff here that I really don't know about that I cannot place.
I have no idea.
Because
I'm useless.
But then, so we're absolutely the perfect people to stream this thing. But you know what? But it's interesting because I did read the book and I found the book actually really fun. I didn't find it, it's not my favorite book, but it's very, it's fast paced and it's definitely a page turn, and there is something to it. And there is also the vision of the metaverse, of course, with the Oasis and all that. But and I've said this publicly, it's not my favorite book when it comes to envisioning the metaverse. And I hope that Ernie Klein will come into the Drax Files talk show in March. So we'll the author of Ready Player One, and so we'll talk with him. But let me ask you, Strawberry, and I cannot confirm or deny. But
and I heard Steven Spielberg was here too, right?
No, they were here. They checked out the design. But I'm starting a new talk show, a one-on-one talk show in the basement, and Ernie Klein is on the list. And again, it's a high probability, but I don't want to jinx it. There's a lot of other high-profile guests. Oops, hold on, I just turned off the mic accidentally. But Strawberry, so you don't know anything about this stuff?
No.
Do you?
But I'm gonna.
Do
go
you
see the
think?
Movie.
You haven't read the book?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Are you judging me?
Yeah, I judge everybody. But do you think it's a good idea to? Do you think it's a good idea to, for promotional purposes, to put something like this out, a movie tie-in?
Sure, why not? As long as it's like well done like this. Like, look at this place. It's gorgeous.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Uh-oh.
Do you think that this will keep people here? Like, people come in and then they look at this and like, wow, that's cool, and then they leave.
I think it depends on what people are interested in. Some people, it won't keep them here no matter what. This is just another thing that does keep me here because it's beautiful and I want to see more, you know?
Yeah, but you understand the core concept. You understand the core concept of Sansar because you come from Second Life and you understand the virtual world concept. But I'm wondering if you, if somebody just comes in here like, oh, this is kind of like a little movie tie-in, and so what does it do to people who come here because of the movie? Will they stay? The reason I'm asking, they tried that with Second Life. There was a bunch of movies. Like, I remember I Am Legend, that movie. Mm-hmm. They had a game actually, which was pretty good, but it
Second
didn't.
Life?
Yeah, that was in 2007. But they didn't really retain people. Ethos is very quiet. What do you think about this stuff?
I was waiting for my opportunity to jump in here. I really
Please.
think that the movie set like this will set a standard by which all visitors will look at the work of other artists and say, oh, it doesn't live up to this high standard. This is commercial material. And then when one of, the common, ordinary, average creator comes up with something equal in interest, doesn't have to be perfect so much as interesting. When they come up with something equally,
like, for example, if they come up with a thematic, let's say a sci-fi, broadly speaking, let's say sci-fi, it will be kind of judged against this.
Or yes, exactly, or fantasy, or storytelling. We've had some great storytelling presented here in Sansar, and so the visitors will wrap their head around this and said, this is nice, it's objects to look at, and it's kind of a fun place to meet, there's room to move around. How are the other creators in Sansar doing their experiences? And it might provoke people to go exploring. I think that will ultimately be the draw to come back to Sansar, is say, there are hundreds of creators. Let's go see what all 100 of them, or 150 or 200 creators are making with their own experiences.
This is really so interesting. You're completely speaking my mind, because I've been thinking about this, because also the feedback I get from Second Life often is that, oh, this is not for me, this is now sort of for the pros and stuff like that. And this is a kind of a catch-22, and I certainly don't have the solution to it, because if a pro design studio or their in-house team builds something of this sort of slick quality, it makes no sense to tell them, well, make it a little bit amateur so that the visitor doesn't get too spoiled about the other stuff. I think there's a general problem, in society on many levels. I mean, that's an issue with movies that people sometimes can't appreciate, like, let's say, a sincere effort by a hobbyist because of the polish that Hollywood can afford, and then things are judged that way. I mean, I hope that we look deeper. We look into the story, and then we look at this guy. He made it himself versus a studio with millions of dollars.
Totally correct. However, take for instance, when I first arrived here, the first moments I arrived, today is my first time. The greatest thing I saw here was the use of light and light and shadow, the shadows of the windows on the floor, and the slightly dusty atmosphere made me feel like I truly was inside a building that had a lot of dust in it and some dirty windows and so forth. And then when I, as a visitor, go see other people's experiences, and they have done something unique or different or lighting-wise that grabs me, I'll compare it to what I experienced here and say, every creator finds something really special to do in Sansar that they haven't been able to do until now.
I'm just playing with the camera a little bit. Sorry if I make you dizzy.
But Ethos, this is really well said, because you're putting the finger on actually a part of the solution to the problem that we just stipulated, which is that through this render engine, this kind of ethereal quality or the liveliness, or however you want to put it, like those tools are in fact available to the amateur, to the hobbyist, as well as the pro. So that is actually then again empowering. So this is already kind of on that level. It's almost as if I had, let's say, as an amateur composer, right? If I had the Vienna Symphonic Orchestra, and I could call them up and say, hey, here's a little melody, can you just record it real quick? So I'm still an amateur composer, but I have colors that are amazing.
Absolutely. And a place
Ethos, they should hire us as sort of the marketing. They should replace the marketing over there.
Oh,
that's
Drax,
the messaging.
You're too kind.
Well, Ethos had a more sophisticated answer than me.
Well, go ahead. I mean, let's hear what you're thinking.
I'm not thinking at all. I mean, I just look around, it's like, oh, this is cool, whatever.
Strawberry was roped into this because she came up with the restream thing that we're streaming to 2 different services just to test it, but there seems to be a technical issue. But Ethos is on this subject. Now, this is where we're getting somewhere. This is really good thinking. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate again that that this experience in particular, I mean, it makes sense. It gets the word out. There's a lot of people visited it because they search for Ready Player One, and then they come in here and then they stream it, and so from a marketing perspective, it makes sense. But let's face it, and I don't have a problem with it. But let's face it, what we're doing right now here is what people have been accusing Second Life of being, which is a 3D chat room with very nice lighting, of course. So
yes, yeah. And I think the experiences that draw you into some sort of story, let's call it a story, a flow, a movement from place to place, and puzzles to sort out and figure out and even develop characters. I don't personally get too involved in role play where there's characters. But the scenery is nice, but people have to come here in order to be together. They want to experience something with a friend where they can chat about it, talk about it, see it at the same time. There's a synchronicity that's important to people saying, oh yeah, I read the book. Well, he read the book 6 months ago. I'm reading it today. Then you meet up at coffee and you talk about the book. Whereas here, in a virtual environment, you're experiencing it at the same time.
Absolutely, and that's why I was saying, like, you know, I don't have a problem with this being the. Oh, look at this guy. Who is this? Torley? Torley sneaking up on us. Oh my God.
Torley, how are you?
You're a little bit muffled. It's either you were speaking through the wrong input. Something is weird.
Oh,
Ethos.
Thank you for testing stuff as well. I'll be right back. One moment.
Ethos is standing in the Ethos. You're standing in the. Speaking of shadows and light and mood, you're totally in the shadow, which looks great. Oh, stop. This is good. Strawberry. Let's walk over here, and then when Torley comes. So, like I was saying, I think that this is the selling point. Quote unquote, that you can.
There's someone else here. Hi.
Where?
Right behind you.
Behind me?
Yeah, I see him,
no,
but I.
beside you. Oh, Joshin?
I don't see that guy. Oh, here we go. You know what? I'm gonna put on the Oculus.
Oh, he says he's muted. Okay.
Here.
All right, let's see now. Do I sound any better?
Hi, Torley,
you sound
Torley,
you sound great.
Thank you. So yeah, what happened, I replugged my Rift, and it set the Rift to be the default input device, even though I'm in desktop right now. It's lovely to see all of you. Now I don't have name tags. It's that bug again. Oh, well.
It's Ayo Yashin, Ethos Erlanger, and of course this little guy, his name is Hans.
Hey, Hans. Good to see you again. Wow,
my name is Hans-Jürgen Krug. I've grown so much, and Dexter's hand grow also coming out of my mouth. Look at it. Yes.
You're like absorbing the souls or something, or
Torley, why do you encourage him?
I can't help but be entertained, and the puppets are sentient life too. You need to respect other sorts of diverse life forms that are arising next to humanoids, I suppose.
we were talking about some very deep philosophical stuff, and if I may summarize briefly what Ethos and my sort of epiphany was, and then maybe I can get your take, because I'm struggling with feedback that I get from friends who say, "Oh, Sansar is so amazing, it's so polished, and all the professionals are doing it, and I can't play in that league, so I feel discouraged." And especially in the context of this here, which was built by Sansar Studios. And then Ethos said that because of the light and the ethereal sort of feeling that the light and the rendering produces, you feel that you're here regardless of the experience being super polished or somewhat sort of amateurish. And then it dawned on me, what you guys have built at Linden Lab is basically you are giving actually pro tools, if you will, pun intended, to everybody. And then it's like, I might be an amateur composer and I play a little melody on the piano, but Sansar then would be like me having the cell phone of the guy from the Vienna Symphony Orchestra and sending him my melody, and then they play it. So in other words, I'm still an amateur composer, but I have these tools to make it amazing sounding, like the colors, basically. That's my point. Thoughts?
Oh, that is very fascinating. So it's always a thing, I think, in any field when you're looking and you're inspired by what you might deem to be great art or entertainment. You're like, wow, could I ever do that? There was something said by, was it Ira Glass? He said about how
Glass!
He had this great quote. I got to look this up about how in the beginning you don't necessarily have the skills to realize something, but you do have taste. And if you cultivate that, I know some of this is subjective and very personal, but if you continue to grow, and what we are trying to enable here are ways to get easily involved. Like, of course, you can't build something, then put a scene together from what other people have made on the store. And it's also true, like something that's really neat that always struck me is that even stuff that's relatively crappy looking, if you're not too happy with it, in the right lighting, it can look a lot better. Like lighting is so much, like being able to control light and shadow. This is something I've heard a lot from, or in the real world with fashion as well. People trying to light their Instagram shots and even subtle things like that. It's just something that people don't necessarily articulate, but it makes a huge difference.
Exactly. And so
even
that's
if you have a cube, you light the cube a certain way, colored lighting, stripes,
Oh my God, you're describing when I moved to Los Angeles. Little anecdote: when I moved to Los Angeles, I remember this to this day. I was 24. I step out of the plane and I go like, "Whoa, everything looks so amazing here." And then my friend picks me up from the airport, and we drive through a relatively, kind of a blighted neighborhood. But I'm just looking like whoa, these houses are awesome. And he looks at me like, "Dude, this is kind of the ghetto here." And yeah, but everything looks so good. And then after a little while, I go like, okay, when it rains, then you really see. But your point is important, because that is an encouragement, because and that gives you hopefully people but it gives people the stamina to stick with it and then kind of learn, because that's a real issue I see just from feedback that I get all the time, that people are so discouraged now.
It's important to have patience with yourself and to realize that what went into someone else who maybe had years and years and hours every day in intense experimentation, and to find your own fulfillment of, there's this really difficult thing where, and by the way, something with the lighting stuff, another good example are hotel rooms, because you always see it nice on the website, but then you look at TripAdvisor or Yelp, right? People that's the real deal, what these hotel rooms really look like, and it's a lot of it's lighting and HDR, and post-processing, but yeah, with any new field, I think I encourage curiosity. I encourage people to really just be gentle with themselves and to separate, there's another thing too, where you might have heroes and idols and all that. You might look up to some people a lot, but you're not going to duplicate them exactly. You want to find your own method of self-expression, and what can you say that they aren't saying, that no one else is saying. And over time, it's not an immediate answer. There's perhaps a Zen component to this where you have to really tease it out over a long, long period of time. But it takes reflection. I think that's difficult sometimes in today's world, because there's so much pressure to have instant gratification, one-click results and things. But it's really
and I mean,
being kind to yourself,
and that's a practice. That's a practice. This takes some maturity to also realize that, I may not be able to make a super slick Hollywood movie, but maybe that's not necessary in order to express myself for what I want. And so I'm just saying this in the context because I want people to try out Sansar if they have their own story. And again, I keep banging on this point, is that people say what's the point to even starting when I see something as awesome as this here? I could never do this. And then I would push back and say, is that what you want? When kids start sort of making their own homemade films with cardboard cutouts or whatnot,
or sweeting it, and just being crafty about it. And the thing to keep in mind too with this whole scene, it was literally put together by industry professionals. Our Sansar Studios art team has so many combined years of experience in the hardened game and film and other industries. And everyone begins from somewhere. And of course, I can speak to when I just began music, and in many ways I still am intimidated in learning. I think people who are even decades, who are really still humbled and finding a gratified place to belong, but they are always trying to see what else is out there that I don't know. I think that kind of hunger is always important, because.
But then the thing is, now we're going in circles. I don't want to harp on this. But one last question. You kind of answered, because the light and the tools that are available to industry professionals who built this, and Joe Blow and me and Strawberry, all those tools are available to everyone. So that's kind of, I would say, democratizing aspect, absolutely. But the problem, and you can't solve it, Linden Lab can't. This is a human dynamic.
Yeah, human psychology.
When people come in here, okay, they're looking for Ready Player One, they're looking, and then they're going finding Sansar, and they're going like, wow, this is amazing. And then they go into the Atlas and they find hobbyist experiences that don't match up. So in other words, the expectation that some people may have is that this is all super AAA type stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And not user-generated content. Again, I'm not saying that this is a conundrum that Linden Lab has to solve or anybody has to solve. It's impossible to solve. It's the same when my son, who is very, very well educated about how long it takes to put something together, sometimes has a snarky comment when he sees something on YouTube and he says, look at this bullshit. And I always say, dude, this, you may not like it, but the dude who did this put his blood, sweat, and tears into this. You know, you got to appreciate that. It's not, you know, yeah, but it doesn't look like this or that movie, you know. And
yeah, so, it's really, like, that's the thing, another parallel, too, with the film industry is that there are many types of storytelling and different kinds of budget. And the whole, what is it, Lars von Trier, the Dogma, it's school of thought. It's like...
That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a Dogma version of Sansar. That's... Yeah.
And it's stuff, too, that doesn't necessarily always look polished, but it elicits a real human reaction. And I think that's important, because stuff can look really crappy and make you and friends laugh and smile, and you always remember that moment, which is far better than something that might look polished that you don't care about, that you're emotionally cold to.
Exactly.
So I think if something just really resonates. I was looking recently, my brother was teaching me more about different styles of anime and manga, and looking at just a huge range in that, to someone who isn't well-versed or hasn't dug deeper in that, they might think it's all the same, you know, like cute girls with big eyes and stuff. But there's a huge tonal dynamic, stuff that's really crude, like almost like little stick figures, to, you know, with big eyes, obviously, but stuff that is so nuanced and hyper, like just hyper psychedelic and everything in between. So what I love to, and I want to see more of this with Sansar, is that when we set out to create Sansar, it was really the style, being style agnostic. I think that's a trendy way to say it, but really allowing people to shape things their way.
Yeah.
And over time, especially, including like right now, avatars, they still sort of have the same humanoid structure, but continuing to evolve upon that.
They do, but Theanine is working on a project with me that will knock people's like, oh my God. Oh.
I cracked up, like when I saw, for instance, on the store, that rigged Apple head. That just cracked me up. I was sharing that around, but seeing more wild stuff, like stuff, we love it internally when it's like, we didn't expect users to make this, like hand puppets. That's a killer example.
Absolutely.
Like,
and you know,
Ravioli
said, he said like, oh, you really like this puppet. It's so crappy. It looks like some, you know, it looks like it's just put together from rags or from stuff from the garbage bin. And I said, that's exactly why I love it. And well, don't you mind like the finger sticking through? I said, no, I don't mind. Please, this is great.
And one thing leads to another. I know some of our artists, and they care very much about having finger articulations in the future. That's another thing, which would make hand puppets even cooler. So it's like when there's actual content that we can feed back and show and say, hey, wouldn't it be neat if we took this and improved on it, and you could wiggle your fingers? You know, with Oculus Touch controllers too, there's a like other games, there's a possibility of that. You can point, you can grip, so. And
even when if you rig it, Damien Fate said that in the stream last time. He said if you rig it to this hand, it would be even good. So you know what, Torley, this is interesting because Ayuashin, sorry, you didn't. Do you wanna chime in here before? You know, I wanted to make this video with Strawberry because there's a guy who did a Ready Player One video on YouTube, and he had 15,000 hits in like 2 days. I was going like, wait a minute, we can do the same. And now we're standing here and having all these philosophical discussions.
And we all know how competitive Draxter is.
Yes. Today Strawberry, tomorrow YouTube.
So you're motivating you in action. Oh, and why are you like testing stuff on Twitch? Is there something specific you're setting up to do?
The Restream, but Strawberry said it's crappy audio actually.
Yeah, so there's this website called Restream. You can use that and use OBS Studio to stream to 2 different places at one time, like YouTube and Twitch. I tried it today, like about half an hour ago, but there was an issue with my stream on YouTube. Like I looked at the video, and it was like clipping the voice, and I didn't really want that kind of quality. And I heard it in Draxter's video too when he was restreaming, but I thought maybe it was his internet or something, but the same exact thing was happening to me. So unless I can go around that, I'm not going to do that. But I know Drax is planning to stream both Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, this is Drax's experience as well. That's really useful to know, Strawberry, because actually Sam Bowden and myself, we've been interested in investigating Restream for future episodes of the top 5. And we haven't tested it yet. We've all been busy with other things, but it's like, if you're having problems with that, that's really useful for us to know.
One thing I do want to tell you, that when I was streaming, there were people in my chat telling me that Twitch has some rules that you can't stream to other places, if you're a partner on Twitch or if you're a Twitch or an affiliate on Twitch, they'll ban you or something. I don't know. I don't know about the details. I wasn't really planning on doing all that on Twitch. I was just testing it out.
Yeah.
So if you guys do that for top 5, you might want to investigate that before you start, especially
definitely going to keep that in mind.
But just, I don't know, maybe test it out. You guys started a new channel for that, right? I saw the guy in VR or something.
Yes, yeah, we're just doing it right now, just really fast and loose, and possibly in the future, if it becomes more of a, like, then we'll move it to an official channel with growth and things. But right now, we just want to figure out and do a lot of fun and just fast, dynamic things. And of course, we're inspired by what you guys do, Drax and Strawberry. We're so inspired. I'm always sharing your videos. For anyone who doesn't know, like, new Lindens on the Sansar, I'm like, you got to check this out, and you got to see what they adventure.
But next time you share, only share mine. Don't share Draxter's.
There she goes again. Look in your face, Draxter. In your face. Look at your face.
The funny thing that reminds me, Debbie Baskerville, she made a great point when we were doing this scavenger hunt of the different perspectives each of you were seeing, and we were thinking if there's some way to show, like, you know, split screen mode or
exactly.
multiple
and you know what? The funniest thing was,
I don't know.
The best thing was when we were in the in the attic. I forgot what it was, but I was teleporting to the attic with Fia9, and then Ryan came up. He said, Draxter, you gotta come down. They're having a discussion, and that's very rude. You guys are hiding in the attic. That was so funny. Yeah.
Spontaneous moments like that. Magic.
I'll send you this, and then we'll see how the restream.
Yeah,
if that is feasible.
I didn't check the Twitch video, but my YouTube video was very clicky. Every 10 to 15 seconds, a voice would disappear, and I don't want that on my YouTube channel, right? So I'll check your Twitch video after Drax and see how that looks. Will it upload automatically?
Hide and go seek, and then I gotta go to a second live meeting. Actually,
he's gone over there.
Where did he go? He just disappeared.
Okay, I gotta go to a second live meeting.
Okay. Where are we going this Saturday? Let's
since we're on this, right? So real quick, two things. Saturday we're going to Sergio de la Cruz Orphanage of Angels. It's amazing. Sergio de la Cruz is from De La Cruz Industries. We're very well known in Second Life, but the Orphanage of Angels is kind of a horror theme, so it might be pretty scary. It's absolutely amazing. It's an exclusive. Again, like I told Ebbe, when I say exclusive, I mean it. And
trailer was cool.
It's going to be an exclusive reveal, Saturday, 11 a.m. Also, mark the calendar. This is going to be crazy. March 24th.
Whoa. That's far.
I know, it's far out. It's far out. Like, we could be dead by then. Knock on wood.
Don't count on it, though, but that sounds kind of grim.
Don't get your hopes up.
Broadcasting from the afterlife, right? Is that what it's about?
No, this is the black humor. This is so funny in Germany. Ha ha ha! You be dead. This is fun.
Finish your thoughts. March 24th.
This is considered stand-up comedy, 100% quality in Germany. No. So on March 24th, I will be at 114 Harvest in Sansar, and I will be in real life at 114 Harvest. I will be sitting in real life with a laptop at 114 Harvest in the front porch. And there will be a split screen with my real live feed and the second live feed. It will be so
cool.
crazy.
I want to be there.
You can because of Sansar.
That's a good one.
So there is a 114 Harvest in real life?
Yes, there is.
Will they let you in the house? Does the owners know you?
Well, the funny thing is actually... No, the funny thing is... that the owners, I was driving by there. This is a house that we used to own. We sold it 10 years ago, and I'm not going to reveal what city it is in because people are going to go nuts and they're going to go there and put flowers and Draxter,
like the Twin Peaks house, right?
Like the fans, yeah, exactly. What happened to when James Hetfield accidentally revealed his home address. I don't know if that ever happened, but point is, the moral of the story. I'm gonna shut up. You'll never get out of here.
Okay, so we'll see you guys on Saturday at 11 a.m. PST. Torley, I hope you join us. Sounds the scary thing.
Yeah,
sounds
if I
fun.
can make. Yeah, I like the trailer of it so much. It's just really ominous. I like the whole emotional vibes that different experiences take, and having the joy, the silliness, as well as the fear, the terror. You gotta have it all.
And again, I mean, I want to with Atlas hopping, we are going to go to hobbyists' experience, to things that beginners make. We have Ice Sky Silverweb from Second Life, and she cannot hear. She's deaf. She can speak, but she cannot hear. She's relying on text chat. She's a text-enabled avatar. We're going to have a special show with her where we only do text chat. I think that is very important, and I hope Linden Lab is working on this to enable people who cannot hear or who don't want to speak.
Yes, accessibility concerns.
Accessibility and inclusion, I think, is important. Lastly, just to wrap this up, we're starting a talk show in mid-February, and there's some really high-profile guests. And Ernie Klein is high on the list, and so is another author that I won't reveal, but possibly a bigger name.
It'll blow our minds, our virtual minds. Well, that's really cool.
Virtual reality, dude, it's great.
That's excellent. Drax, are you doing experiments with Restream as well?
Yeah,
yes,
he's doing it
that's
right
what
now.
I'm going to send you.
Oh,
I'm the only one. She's not doing it, but I'll send it to you as soon as it renders. Yeah.
Yeah, just curious. Okay.
And Ethos, I'm really depressed that you don't know that there's a real harvest.
One,
there's actually the original photo from 1989.
If you go to the video
1898 is in the
YouTube stream from about half an hour ago. That is the one I did on Twitch and YouTube, and you can hear the clicking sound every 10 seconds.
I was a little lad.
Thanks.
A wee little lad.
I mean, you might want to test it before you try it for a top 5.
I would be very,
Yeah, we're definitely, like, that's what I said to Salmon Bowden, that with all this sort of thing, it sounds like a good idea to simulcast, but
I actually
with added bandwidth and overhead latency, there's always possibility something could go wrong like that.
I asked the neighbor,
because I've never had
owners, like, are they nice?
On
and she goes,
YouTube
yeah, they're nice.
Before.
Just knock on the door, and I was like, maybe they'll
specific
they think
to
I'm
Restream,
crazy.
something that's going on with that.
So I drove by there. Is this Ricardo's?
No.
No, is it Steve?
No. Okay, Drax, I gotta run. I'm back to work.
Yeah, me too.
But this was fun.
Keeping me up, Strawberry.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
I'm glad I got to check it out. But I'll see you guys on Saturday then, okay?
Always.
Yep, bye-bye.
Thanks for the heads up. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Very good food for thought, Ethos. Really, that was actually...
Thanks to everyone who joined me in my streaming today. If you go to the video before this is when I was trying Restream out. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep up with it because of the sounds, but I think Draxter is going to try it, so you can click over to his channel. If you are on Twitch, you can watch him on Twitch streaming to Sansar. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description and all that. And thanks for joining me today. Please join us again next Saturday, this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. PST. We're going to a new place that's going to be revealed that day, and hopefully you can join us. And it's supposed to be a scary place. I don't know. That's what Drax was saying. Okay, I'm off. See you guys later. Bye.